Shalom everyone, it's called Torah, and today I would like to talk a little bit about Pesach, the upcoming Chag, the upcoming holiday that we will all celebrate Monday night. I would like to discuss with you an interesting idea that I find that during the Seder, during Passover night, we not only mention, but we really celebrate. And what do I mean about? Let's take the matzah. On one hand, we refer to the matzah as lechem oni, which means a bread of poor people. It's very flat, it's dry, it's something that can last for a long time, so we can understand why it's called lechem oni, which means bread of poor people. On the other hand, the Talmud looks at the matzah in an additional perspective, or may I say, a different perspective. The Talmud says it's also lechem she'onim alav dvarim arbe, which means it's bread that many words and many sentences and paragraphs are being recited on this piece of bread. As we know, the entire Haggadah mentions matzah. The matzah is most of the time is uncovered in order to recite the Haggadah where the matzah is in front of us. So my question is, I don't understand. On one hand, this is bread that represents poor people, desperate people, people that basically are never being heard. And the flip side of the matzah is, this is a bread that most of the Haggadah is being recited on. How can we reconcile what seemingly looks like a major contradiction in essence of the same project, of the same object? On one hand, the object symbolizes poor, destitute, misery. On the other hand, the matzah is the bread of freedom, is the bread that we recite all the Haggadah on it. How can we reconcile it? I would like to suggest to you that the reconciliation is that both components exist. And this is exactly the point of the Passover night. What do I mean by that? As we know, when we try to understand Hashem, there is a tremendously difficult question. How can we understand Hashem that on one hand shows us mercy and compassion and kindness, and on the other hand we see from Hashem's judgment and harshness? But really Hashem is one. It's one entity, where compassionate and mercy and judgment and harshness can be the same entity. The same thing happens with matzah. Matzah symbolizes one entity, one life, that has components of poor and destitute and misery, and also symbolizes richness and tremendous abilities and potential of reciting many things on this matzah. The matzah is being called in the book of Zohar as the bread of faith, lechem emunah, which means what? Which means that our faith in what's happened in our life is that it's all one entity. On Passover night, we celebrate contradictions. On one hand, we eat the maror, the bitter herb, and on the other hand, we lean on our side in order to show freedom. On one hand, we drink cups of wine like free people. On the other hand, we take away from the wine when we mention the 10 plagues. We celebrate life with all its ups and downs, with all the successes and failures, because we understand that life is not all good and it's not all bad. It's not all glorious and glamorous, and it's not all depressing. Life and being alive is our ability to confront all those different realities. It is our ability to have faith in the most darkest times and in the most brightest times. It is our ability to internalize the faith into every area of our lives. The Passover night is called Leil HaSeder, which means a night of reorganization. It's reevaluation of our lives. It's reorganizing our thoughts and feelings to have fully understand, to fully appreciate the ups in our lives, but also the downs in our lives, and to make them one entity. This is the challenge of the night, and this is the challenge of conveying that message to our children. Life is not all good or all bad. It's a mixture of all. And it's our responsibility and challenge to make the best out of it. I want to wish you a Chag Sameach, a happy Pesach, that will be a Pesach of true freedom and true understanding of faith. Thank you.